Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Star Wars Perspective podcast. And if you're new here, I'm your host, Max. And what I do is I find people from all across the Star Wars galaxy to tell their Star Wars story. And today I have on Rachel to tell her story. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are
I'm
you?
good. I'm good. So the first question I usually ask everybody is, what got you into Star Wars?
So it's just like it's funny. It's like my family's thing. My granny, I'm from Alabama, and so my granny was introduced to it by my dad, and she was like obsessed.
Nice.
And
Nice.
so growing up, her house was like packed with stuff. She was a product of the Great Depression, so she was kind of a hoarder, but it was packed with all Star Wars stuff. Like she made all these dioramas that like covered a full wall in her house, and she had
Oh,
like
wow.
a life-size R2D2 trash can and like just like crazy like collector's items that she was just obsessed. And so growing up, it was just like my family's thing. Like everybody loves Star Wars. I have older siblings who are about 20 years older than me, and so they Star Wars was like a really big thing for them whenever they were kids, like in the 80s, and things like that. So they they have like a different experience of Star Wars with my granny, who was like the matriarch of of making us all obsessed. But it was still like a cool experience to go to her house and have it full of Star Wars stuff, and we would watch movies all the time together. So yeah,
That's
that's it. I mean, we're just it's like my family is known for it though, so
That's
it's hilarious.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, that must be crazy having like my uncle was somebody who was like big into the Star Wars realm, but like he wasn't a huge collector. So he had some of the toys and stuff like that, but that must have been crazy like seeing a lot of like the stuff from like the early days of Star Wars, like some of
Yeah,
the
she had like
merchandise.
throwback stuff in her house for sure. It was cool.
Yeah, that's super cool. So, if you had to pick one thing about Star Wars, what would be your favorite thing about Star Wars?
Oh gosh.
That's a tough one, I know.
That is tough. There's so many good things about it. I love just like the way that I can go to Galaxy's Edge. I just went for the first time a
Oh,
couple months ago, but like
nice.
you can go to Galaxy's Edge and just like immerse yourself into like Star Wars. You can watch the movies and just like have a marathon, and like there's nothing that really pulls you out of it in the movies. You know how like sometimes you watch movies and something happens and you're like, oh, that was like I like realize I'm actually watching a movie. That doesn't happen. I mean, it happens in like the newer movies, I guess, but in like all the classics, you can just like watch and immerse yourself in it and just like forget
Right,
the
right.
world around you.
Yeah, the immersion's great for sure.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your company and kind of like what made you want to start, kind of going down that path. I always find it interesting as like a small business owner myself. I like to hear what, kind of what drives others to do the same.
Yeah, so it's I love all Star Wars t-shirt businesses, all these fandom businesses. There's a ton right now. I think it's awesome. I growing up, I like even now I have like 30 Star Wars t-shirts, 20 or 30, but like in high school I had way more, and I would just like every time I went to the store, if I saw a Star Wars t-shirt, I would collect them, and then it was like a thing in my family to like get me them as gifts. And so, but they were always men's t-shirts
Mm,
because men's t-shirts had the cooler Star Wars designs, right? Like you
right,
go
for
into
sure.
Target, and if you want a Star Wars shirt, you're going to the men's section. So that was like always something that kind of bugged me. And then these all these businesses kind of started popping up, and I love them, but like they're not super size inclusive. Sometimes they only go from like small to large. They only have three sizes. And I was like, there are resources out there to be size inclusive. So I really wanted to do that. And then on top of that, all of that, I just had like ideas for like original designs that aren't. I like don't think that it is the best idea to take a character and slap them on a shirt and say, this is my original design. It's like, no, you just like stole their character, and they can like literally sue you for that.
Yeah, yeah, they can come after you for sure, for sure.
So we try our best like to stay away from that. We like this is like luminous being, but like it's like if like luminous being is like a Star Wars thing, and it's in green because it's Yoda, and like it's like a cool take on Star Wars, and I think that is like super important to me too. Is just like making it actually creative and unique, and yeah, size inclusive is a big thing though. I'm very passionate about that. So
Heck yeah, yeah. I really want to. I'm saving up to get your Stay on Target. I like the font that you
oh
chose for it.
yes,
Um,
thank you.
it's kind of has like a more of like a '70s almost like groovy
Mhm.
kind of vibe to the Stay on Target. So I thought that was kind of cool,
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah, my husband is actually a graphic designer, so he like
Oh,
designs stuff.
sweet.
Like if I have an idea, I'll throw it out there and then he'll design it. But Stay on Target was like he had a shirt that he made like a while ago that was a Stay on Target shirt, but we kind of like revamped it and we made it more of like a throwback, like a tribute to the original
Right.
trilogy of Star Wars, you know. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I totally felt
I
that
love.
vibe. It's very '70s for sure.
Yeah, I'm
So
glad you noticed that.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. So this is probably gonna be the most in depth and hardest question that I ask you. So going from Phantom Menace all the way to Rise of Skywalker, and you can include Solo and Rogue One in there if you want to. You don't have to though.
Okay.
Let's go through each movie and kind of tell me something that's like super iconic to just you, something that you really love about each movie.
Okay, that is hard. I will focus on like one movie and then like watch the one movie and be obsessed with it. And so I'm really bad at like going through all the movies. But I made a list because I knew you're gonna ask this question. So I
Right.
made a list of like the order of like my favorite to least favorite.
Hmm.
But I included like the like Star Wars series, like
That's fine too. We can go through it all, man. I'm
cool.
I'm
Okay,
I'm
cool.
here for it.
Cool. So the Clone Wars like is my favorite series,
Hmm.
and then I think the best part of that is when Ahsoka leaves.
Right, right. That's super
Spoiler.
emotional. Yeah, spoiler if
Yeah.
you haven't watched it, for sure.
Yeah, that's like I just relate to that a lot, and so I love that part. It was very emotional, and that's like my favorite piece of Star Wars. Like, is the Clone Wars series.
Oh
So
yeah, it's great. It's great.
yeah, and then I love Rogue One. Every part of that is good, but obviously like the ending
Oh
had
yeah.
had me like jumping up and down. It was literally insane. I was like sobbing because they all died, and then Leia shows up, and I'm freaking out. Like it was that is like that movie gives you a fresh take on like the originals. You know,
For sure. Yeah.
it brings back that nostalgia. A New Hope. I love like all like the women in Star Wars, obviously because I'm a woman, and so just like Leia in A New Hope, I just love her. Like I said, I struggle to pick like a specific thing, but
I mean, they can be like it can be more of like a broad strokes sort of thing. Like
okay,
for instance, like you said, like you like the women in Star Wars and you like Leia. Like that's good enough. It doesn't have to be
yeah,
anything. And
okay, cool.
really, just like the reason because I kind of restructured that question a little bit.
Okay,
So I knew I probably threw you off guard a little bit when I asked
you're
that.
good.
Um, just because I really want to get down to like really like why Star Wars is special to you, you know. So
Yeah,
really, like there's no right or wrong or anything like that. I just want to kind of highlight like what you like about the movies essentially, you know.
yeah, I get that. That makes sense. Um, Next, four on my list is Rebels. I love
Nice,
Rebels.
for sure.
Hera is like one of my favorite characters. Chopper is one of my favorite characters. I love that whole series. It's like it's so good. I get super sad because I didn't watch Clone Wars or Rebels until like last year, the year before,
Oh
because I
wow.
was like, oh, those are just like kid shows. Like I'm not gonna watch
Yeah.
them. And my husband was like, no, like you have to watch them. Like you don't understand a lot, especially with like Mandalorian and stuff. He was like, you have to watch these shows to actually understand like what is happening in Mandalorian whenever the dark saber comes and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, so yeah, Rebels is super good. Just everything about it, especially Hera and Chopper.
Oh yeah.
I love Attack of the Clones. Just like Anakin is also one of my favorite. Padme's cool, but like Anakin, I relate to him a lot. Just like, he's just like emotional. He just like he loves who he loves. He's not ashamed of that. I love that. Attack of the Clones is super good. and then Return of the Jedi, and then Empire Strikes Back. I can recall, like, sorry, this like off topic. I
No,
can
no worries.
remember watching those two specifically I was like in either preschool or kindergarten, and like my teacher would put them on for us to watch. And I remember being the only kid that would like sit in front of the TV and watch them because all the other kids would just like play with toys. But I was like, I love these. I'm watching them. Like I remember her putting those two movies on specifically. So
That's cool, man. I
like,
wish my teachers did that back in the day. That would
yeah,
have been awesome.
it's like a core memory. So
Right.
after those, Mandalorian. Obviously, Mandalorian's just good.
Oh,
You
it's
have
great.
to love it, and
Yeah,
it's
sure.
the theme is great, like the theme music. Phantom Menace, it's good. I'm not like the biggest fan of like the prequels, but Phantom Menace is good. I will say that. Then Revenge of the Sith, also good. Super sad.
Oh yeah.
Like Order 66 and all that stuff like gets me very emo.
Yeah, it gets me every time, man. I'm just like, oh.
I like am unwell whenever anything like in Rebels, like Order 66 happens like at the beginning of Rebels, and like I am just not okay. So that gets me. And then The Force Awakens, and then Rise of Skywalker. Those, I think The Force Awakens is at like the top of like those last most recent movies for me because it was so exciting. Like I
Yeah,
remember
for
going
sure.
to the theater, we went to the midnight showing, and I like got like the t-shirt that had like it had like the movie poster and all the release dates like on the back. It was like a fun experience, and so I think that's why it's at the top for me. But whenever I rewatch those three, I still think that one was the best one.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think I saw like my friend and I went to go see it like the day it released. And then as soon as we got done seeing it, we hopped back in line and bought another ticket and went to go see it. I think I saw it at least like I want to say like 5 times like in
That's
theaters. Like I
awesome.
was super hyped for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think definitely that was just because it wasn't a bit as big of a gap as like I want to say like Return of the Jedi to Phantom Menace, but we had still like it was 2005 to I want to say like 2000 like 14, 15, something like that when it came out.
Yeah.
So that was still a pretty big gap, you know, between Revenge of the Sith and Force Awakens, and I just remember everybody was so hyped for it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it was dope. I mean, the thing too is like, I talk about this a lot. Sorry, but like Rey being like the actual main character, and she's a girl, and we're finally getting a movie that's all about Rey, who's a girl. Like it was just cool. So
Oh yeah. Well, I liked her setup too. I really liked the scavenger aspect and that she was kind of like nobody. You know, like that
yes,
was like really appealing to me. Um
yes,
and like I'm not like to me the sequels are kind of like the lowest in my ranking personally, but I really liked like I thought the character started off super strong. I just wasn't crazy about like how they developed as the stories went on, but like I felt like every character like I thought Finn's arc was good of like an ex stormtrooper or a first order trooper I guess, and like Poe
mm-hmm.
was cool because he was kind of like a mixture between like Luke and Han, you know.
Yeah,
I thought and then Kylo Ren was freaking awesome with the mask and the guard, you know, the his lightsaber.
mm-hmm.
So
They were like original, like all the characters in their stories. It was like a whole new story.
heck
But
yeah.
yeah, then like the which one is it? The episode 8. What is it? Last Jedi.
Yeah, Last Jedi.
That
Yeah.
one. That one's at the bottom of my list. I hated that one because
Yeah,
it's
that
not
one
original and like it was weird.
it's it's definitely interesting. I feel like as far as like movies go, like as far as like filming and directing, I think there was like a lot of beautiful scenes
Yes, it was
within the movie.
cinematic.
I think it was shot very well. Just for me personally, the story because I'm a huge Luke Skywalker fan. Like he's my favorite character.
Okay.
And I saw the direction that they went with him. It just wasn't the direction that for me as a fan I personally wanted.
Yeah.
And that's why for me the movie wasn't that great to me. But like But yeah, I can agree with that. I think Last Jedi is probably the same for me. It's like it'd probably be at the bottom of my list for my
Yeah.
ranking.
Yeah, it was a little let down, especially after The Force Awakens was.
Yeah, so
I
much
thought it was
hype.
actually really good, and
Hmm.
then The Last Jedi just kind of like deflated me. But
Yeah.
I think after The Force Awakens, Rise of Skywalker, I liked it. A lot of people didn't, but I really liked it. And then Boba Fett, Book of Boba
Oh
Fett is
yeah,
after
yeah,
that.
yeah. That's good.
I had such high hopes for Book of Boba Fett,
Hmm.
and I think like the story was cool, but what is that guy's name? Like Robert Rodriguez?
Yeah, yeah. The director.
See, I got issues with him. I need to have a talk with him. He's like, he definitely makes, he brings in like, it makes me think of Spy Kids, honestly, whenever he directs anything with Book of Boba Fett. It's like every episode I was like, that is so cringy. He was the
Yeah,
director.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like expecting more from like Cad Bane and like Boba, like that was such a letdown.
Hmm.
And I don't know, the last episode just like I was on like a high from the episodes before that one, you know,
Right,
and
because
so
they're so
the last
killer.
one just made me very very sad.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I think Solo is second to last for me.
Hmm.
It just didn't do it for me, and then Last Jedi.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Yeah, with the Book of Boba, there's like I definitely like enjoyed it. But there was a lot of stuff that like I think it just could have been maybe like, and this is no like really diss to like Robert Rodriguez. It just maybe he isn't the right fit for Star Wars. You
Yeah,
know, like I don't think he's like a bad director because I've seen some of his other movies and they're actually like pretty good. It's just maybe he just doesn't, and that's okay. Not everybody can fit into the Star Wars universe. It's very hard to recreate. Everybody kind of likes to crap on George Lucas, especially like during the time of the prequels. But like, not everybody's a George Lucas.
yeah.
Not everybody's like a visionary and stuff like that, and that's okay. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so because like I was kind of the same as you, where I was like, some of the episodes where I was like, I could have done without that episode. I didn't realize that those were directed by him until I like looked at like who directed every episode, and I was like, huh, yeah, maybe he's just not. Putting it in like a nice way. Maybe he's just not right for the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, it's hard because some of the things in the like the last episode were like really cool, like him riding the Rancor and the
That was sick.
Rancor, and then that whole cinematography of like Boba and Mando fighting, like coming out of the thing. I thought that was like the cool when he's like does that little like knee high thing and he's like that.
Yeah,
I
that
was
was.
like, oh man, I was like, I didn't know I needed that, but it's like I need to go buy a hot toy right now and put him in that pose with the knee
So
guards. Yeah.
I don't know. There was just like I loved parts of it too, but then there was like the part where the the what are they called? Like the cyborg.
Oh, the mods. I think that's what they're
Yes, the
called.
mods.
Yeah.
The kid who like did like the little spin move. That we literally, me and Cliff, my husband, we like he did that, and both of us looked at her like jaws dropped. We're like, "Are you kidding? Like,
uh,
what was that? That is
yeah.
not okay."
It was extra. It definitely had it was cheesy. It
Yeah,
definitely had a lot of cheese to it.
yeah,
And it was just I didn't like, to me, like really my biggest critique of the Book of Boba Fett was I wasn't a huge fan, like not even of the concept of the mods, because I think that's a cool concept. Like people who like mod themselves to be like, I think that's like a street bike gang. I just felt like the execution of it could have been done better. Like they didn't really fit the vibe for me of like Tatooine. Like they
yeah.
kind of looked like they belonged on like Coruscant or
I thought the same. Yeah,
something like that. And I think if they would have just did a little bit of a redesign on them, I think they could have actually been like a super cool thing.
yeah. I
But
agree.
but yeah, the mods kind of but overall, like I said, I think the show was good. I think it was, they kind of did like almost like a 180, because we saw like obviously Boba and Mando too, and we're like, oh, okay, that's the Boba we're gonna get. Kind of more of like a I put it as like a John Wick. I don't know if you've seen those movies, but like a John
Yeah,
Wick style where he's just like going crazy, and we kind of got a more um I guess, like refined Boba, where he's a lot calmer and not like so like heavy handed, which like I didn't mind so much. I just, for me, as much as I did love those two episodes where he's like not in them, I was
Yeah,
just like, I was like, and it pains me to say this because like those episodes were great. Like I loved
they
those
were.
episodes, but they had nothing to do with Book of Boba Fett. I was like,
Yeah,
and this is his story, so I think they could have filled that. Like for me, what was the most jarring about the show was like the pacing just seemed a little weird.
yeah,
Personally,
I agree.
but that's my little that's my little spiel on the Book of Boba Fett. Um, but no, that's awesome. Do you have since I know you said Clone Wars was your favorite. What do you have like a favorite arc from the Clone Wars?
Oh gosh.
There's so many good ones. I know it's hard to
Yeah,
pick.
I like the. I mean, I just like the Barriss arc where she betrays
Yeah,
Ahsoka, and
yeah,
then it
yeah.
leads to Ahsoka, like just like Ahsoka leaving. It all leads up to her leaving, and it's just like the council sucks, and there's just like, it's like I said, I relate to that on like a spiritual religious level, and
Yeah.
so I like really love that arc of, and I would love to see more of Barriss because I thought she was really cool, but yeah, I think that's my favorite part of all of it. It's
Heck
very
yeah.
emotional, and that's why I like it, is because it makes me feel things
For
that I
sure.
don't feel the rest of the time watching it. So,
Definitely, definitely. Did you watch Visions?
yeah, we did.
How
Yeah,
did you feel about Visions? Because that's something that like we really haven't gotten before. It's kind of a new thing within the realm of Star Wars. So I know some people loved it. Some people were like, and then some people were like, it's not for me. So what did you feel about it?
yeah. So we love anime. I am. Cliff loves more anime than I do. I really like Demon Slayer. That's like the one that I'm like
Demon Slayer's great.
really into.
The art is amazing in that one.
Yeah. So I I loved Visions. There was like the random episodes in it where it was like a band.
Yeah, the
I was like,
Tatooine Rhapsody.
yeah, I was like, not my vibe, but like
Right.
that's cute for like kids.
For sure.
But yeah, most of Visions, yes, we really liked the cool. I mean, I love like all the little different stories. Like the universe, the galaxy is so big. It's like, why can't there be these really cool stories that aren't our classic, you know, the ones that we know. So yeah, I
For
really
sure.
liked it, and I thought it was cool that every episode was like a different art style made by like a different company or whatever. So I liked that, but I didn't have an issue with it. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I love Visions. I think it was cool. I should have put that on my ranking. I kind of forgot about it.
Oh no, no worries, no worries. Yeah, we hadn't gone over it, so I always like to ask, like, because that one is like it's a different. The thing I think I like best about that one is that it wasn't canon, so like none of
Yeah,
those stories like align with the thing, and I'm like, I really hope they start kind of doing more like non-canon stuff because I would love to. I don't know if you saw the new like Star Wars, like the video game, the cinematic trailer for it, for the
I did see that.
like that. I was like, man, I was like, if we could get like an animated show with that level of action, I think that would be so cool. And you can set it, it just make it non-canon and just make it. I think that would be super cool because I love those. Like all those cinematics are like great, and like you don't even have to have it like that high. Like you could have it kind of in the style of like Clone Wars or something like that. But I think that would be really cool, and I kind of
Yeah,
hope they branch out and do more non-canon stuff in the future.
but yeah, I like that idea. That would be cool.
So next we're gonna go into the segment called Minoc Minutes, where I just kind of lob like, "What's your favorite this?" or "Would you rather?" Kind of just simpler questions. And the first one I usually ask is, if you were in the Star Wars universe, who would you want to be? Would you want to be a Jedi, Mandalorian, Sith, smuggler? Who would you pick?
Man, I think honestly, I think I would not be okay to be a Jedi, because I'm too like emotionally driven. So I think that I would be. I think I would be force sensitive, but I would not be a Jedi. Maybe like a Mandalorian would be cool. Um, but then they have like their own religion that they're super committed to as well. So I don't really know. Maybe a force sensitive smuggler. I think
Ooh, that would be cool.
that would be me, and I could like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. Force
because
sensitive smuggler.
going back to Rogue One, I thought that was something that was really cool. Was that Chirrut, the blind guy, he
Yes.
was like, he was force. He couldn't use the force, but he was force sensitive, and I was like, man, that's such a cool concept, you know.
Yeah.
So being like a smuggler in that time, I think that would one that would probably help you, you know, because you get in some
Oh
dicey
yeah.
situations. But if you had to pick a Jedi master or a Sith master, who would you want to be trained by?
Anakin.
Anakin. Okay. Would you
Yeah.
want to be trained by like light side Anakin or like dark side Anakin?
Light side.
Light side Anakin.
Like
Okay.
how he was training Ahsoka.
Okay.
He was a
Cool.
really good. He was good. He was a good
Yeah.
master,
Well,
and he taught her a lot of like really important things. So
I think thinking on like that was one of Anakin's like super strong points is that he could like think on his feet, like he can adapt like super quickly, and I think you see that in a lot of like Ahsoka's attributes. Like she can, I think that's why she survives so long. It's because she's like willing to adapt to like pretty much any situation, you know, which is really cool. And I hope we see that in like her show. I think that'll be really cool if she has to fight like, I don't know, because her show takes place during the time of like the Mandalorian is, so like the Empire is gone, right? It's gonna be take
I
place like
believe so.
after. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say it'd be cool to see her fight Inquisitors, but probably not if it's during that time period. But yeah, just seeing her would be pretty sweet. So if you had to design your own lightsaber, what style lightsaber would you have, and what colors, depending on the lightsaber you pick, would you want?
Yeah. I think I would just. I'm like obsessed with Ahsoka. I think I would just want hers like white,
Ooh, you
one
picked the white
smaller, one
ones.
bigger. You know, two
Nice.
lightsabers. Like I love like her pose. I love how she fights with both of them, and like the small one. Like I don't know. You can if you watch like they can do different things with the smaller one that they can with the bigger one. I don't know. It's just like a cooler fighting style with one smaller, and so
Definitely.
I love the white. I think it's
Yeah.
a cool aesthetic.
It's
So
very clean. It's very
yeah,
clean. It looks I like that they you know, I cuz we didn't really know how like Sith got their like red lightsabers. And I think that's super cool that like they have to like put all their rage and hatred into it to bleed it, and then a Jedi can like almost like purify them and it turns white. Like I think that's such a cool concept. So
that is
I
cool.
completely agree with you. Um if you had to pick three favorite characters, they don't have to be in any specific order, but you could only pick three favorite characters, who would you pick to be your top three?
Ahsoka is number one. I'll put them in order. Ahsoka's number one,
Okay.
and then Hera is
Okay.
number two, and then Anakin is three.
That's a solid pick, man. All those are solid characters. I funny enough, I actually didn't like Rebels like the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
And then I watched it. I was showing a friend of mine Rebels, and you just pick on. I don't. That's why I always do like I like my rule is you always have to watch something twice before you really decide, because you pick up on so many little bitty things. And now Rebels is like up there. I think it's not, it doesn't beat Clone Wars for me, but it's like right underneath Clone Wars for me.
Cool.
So yeah, Hera's a really cool character. If you could bring one force power into real life, what force power would you choose to bring?
Uh, Probably like I just wave my hand and I say, "You're gonna let me.
Some
You're gonna let
persuasion
me
for
do
sure.
this. You're gonna let me do that. You're gonna forget this." Like that would come in handy a lot,
Definitely, definitely.
and I think that would be best. Like whenever you get pulled over,
Yeah.
I wasn't speeding.
Yeah, you don't want to give me a ticket.
Yeah, yeah, like that would come in handy.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Do you have a favorite musical score?
So Leia's theme was like always
Oh,
my absolute favorite, and then Mandalorian came out, and I love the Mandalorian theme.
right, right.
I think it's still like a tie between the two. Like I wouldn't put one over the other. I love both definitely, but whenever like Mando's theme comes on, you just start like getting hype, and then
Yeah.
Leia's theme just makes me feel like I just love Leia, like I said. So
Right. Yeah, it makes me super emotional when I listen to her theme.
yeah,
I'm like, oh, you know.
yes,
Um, so here's a question that I didn't actually have on the list that I sent you. I just added this one, but I think it's good. If so, we're gonna build your Star Wars family. So you have to pick a mom and a dad, a best friend, and then an enemy.
okay.
So we'll start off with the mom and the dad. Who would you want your Star Wars mom and dad to be?
Um, Padme and Anakin, whenever
Nice.
they're whenever they're alive and they're good. um, and then my best friend would be Ahsoka. And then my enemy, I don't know. I think, oh my gosh. I think having like Kylo as an enemy would be
Ooh.
cool.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
He's
Cool.
he's a really cool villain. So
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Do you have a favorite clone trooper?
I mean, I love Rex.
Yeah,
Who doesn't love
yeah,
Rex?
classic for sure.
Yeah, I love the Ahsoka clones. Like they're whenever they have the helmets and stuff. I think that's like the
Oh
coolest.
yeah, very emotional. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so what is your favorite Star Wars planet, and what planet would you personally want to live on?
Okay, so I love Tatooine. I think obviously like everything revolves around Tatooine and all the movies and shows. So I have like a shirt that I made that's like "Here Come the Suns," and it's
Yeah.
like the two Tatooine suns. I love. I just love like all of the vibes on Tatooine. I think it's like it's an aesthetic whenever very cinematic. But if
Definitely.
I were to live on a planet, I think I would want to live on Naboo
Yeah,
because
that's most people's favorite. Like
yeah,
that's like the when I bring everybody on, they're like, "Yeah, Naboo seems pretty nice."
yeah, it's like it's beautiful. It's like peaceful and like why wouldn't you want to live there? Especially if you
Yeah,
like I love the outdoors, and so
definitely.
there would be tons of like hiking and waterfalls and
Heck
all
yeah.
that
Well, it's
stuff.
like
So
cool too, cause like there's like different like land. Like there's like lakes, there's like swamp, there's like
mhm,
grasslands. I'm sure they have mountains somewhere. They're on a giant mountain.
yeah,
So a lot of different terrain, which would be really sweet.
yeah.
Um, what is your favorite Star Wars creature, and what creature would you personally want to have as a pet?
Okay, I like the Lothwolf in Rebels.
Heck yeah, yeah, those are
I
cool.
think they're like I love dogs in real life, so whenever they popped up in Rebels, I was like, these are so fucking cool. I was like so shook, and the storyline with them too was really cool, and Doom and everything. But
Oh yeah,
if I were to have a pet, I don't know. I think I might just have like a loth wolf if they were okay with it, but
yeah,
maybe a loth cat. I don't know. I really like loth cats and loth wolves, so
that's cool. I liked to
either
have seen the
one.
live action one in Mando, when it's like under the table, like
Yes,
ground. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's a live action.
yes,
You
it
know.
was so sick.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I have two kind of like final questions that I end up like wrapping up the podcast with, and the first one is out of all these shows that have been announced so far, what are you most hyped for?
I'm most hyped for Ahsoka.
Heck yeah, heck yeah.
I mean, I've talked about her like the whole time.
Right,
I
for
love
sure.
Ahsoka. She's my favorite character. Obi-Wan is going to be really cool too,
Oh,
though.
I
I'm
can't
very
wait.
excited about that. I mean, it's going to fill in the gaps that we've been missing.
Heck yeah.
So
Well, I
I'm
can't
excited.
believe I don't know if you heard, but John Williams is gonna compose like the intro to it, and I was just like, oh my god! I was like,
Dude
this is
is
gonna
like
be great.
90 years old and he's still working hard for
Oh,
us. I'm like,
he's a
thank you.
beast. Yeah,
Yeah.
he is a beast. And if Lucasfilm called you up and was like, "Hey, we need an idea for it can be a show, it can be a movie, video game, book, comic, whatever you want, but you have to come up with the idea," what would you pitch them?
Oh man. Um, that's hard.
It is hard. It is hard.
Maybe a movie that is like either okay, I have like two then.
Okay.
Like a movie that is like Ahsoka because I love Ahsoka, or
What would
a
you
movie,
have? What time period would you set that movie in? Would you set it in Clone Wars, or where would she be in her life for the movie?
I think it would be like whenever she's in Rebels
Oh, okay. Cool, cool,
and
cool.
she is Fulcrum.
Oh, okay, so like what she's kind of doing during that time period.
Yes, I think
Okay.
that would be cool to like follow like just like a random arc in that time period would be cool. She's like super cool in
Yeah,
like
she
her
is.
white cloak and stuff, so and her staff. So I think it'd be cool to see more of that. Or do like a movie that is for the Fallen Order video game,
Ooh,
like
that
just
would be
turn
cool.
it into the movie. I know, like I haven't like played it all the way through. I've played like maybe like a third or a fourth of the way through of it, but I know it shows like, I mean, it tells the story, but all video games do. But video games still turn into like movies. Like Uncharted is coming out, but I think it would be a cool movie.
Heck yeah. Well, I think I really love the time of like the Empire and like the rebellion, and it's kind of set in between that time period. So I think that would be a really cool movie for sure. Well, thank you for coming on and talking Star Wars with me. Do you have anything you'd like to plug for the fans?
Just my business, Galaxy of the Babes. You can follow us on Instagram, galaxyofthebabes.com if you want to shop. We're size inclusive. We have stuff that's good for men or for women. And yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'll leave all those links down below for you guys too. Well, yeah, like I said, thank you for coming on, and
thank you.
If you guys have made it in this far in this video, thank you for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.